Action, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, finally,
Yeah.
to the Sports Junkies podcast. We've been very active on Twitter, but we haven't had a chance to record.
Easy.
So here it is, after the second round victory for the Montreal Canadiens. That's Franco. I am Joey. We're here to talk sports. It'll be mostly hockey and a little bit of Italian soccer, I believe, is what's going to happen later on in the show. So thanks for joining us. Obviously, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to us. And follow us on Twitter at Sports Junkies Podcast, or it's S Junkies Pod is the Twitter handle. Always entertaining, always getting into plenty of arguments, and I'll blame that mostly on Franco, but that's okay. It's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, tell me, Frank, what is the biggest figure? Like, what's the biggest thing that you took out of the Winnipeg series?
Biggest thing. I think the biggest thing is that we dictated how we wanted the game to play, how we wanted the series to be played was our way. I don't think there's once that we've played their way. We like they dictated how the series was supposed to be played. Not even 1 minute. I think it was all Montreal. All four games.
I think the last couple minutes of the third game or whatever it was when they kind of had their chances, their last push, and I actually said also the first 5 minutes of the fourth game.
Yeah, when they came out,
I was like, they're gonna come out. If we get past the first 5 minutes, we're good.
Yeah,
we're winning. We're winning the game, and Kerry let in maybe one stinker. But it was kind of a knuckle puck too. Like it's not something that's gonna go in often. I mean, it just so happened that it went in, and if we're really gonna put it out there were 7 guys on the ice for Winnipeg when that goal went in. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point, and it's not even like. I think my issue was the guy came off the bench. Like, if he was just in the play and guys were changing in the background, like, it would have been fine. But he came off the bench and scored. What's his name? Logan Stanley.
Yeah.
So for me, that should have been called. But whatever, it is what it is. We still won the game. Cole Caulfield with a great play. Suzuki with the battle in the corner. And Toffoli with an easy finish.
Beautiful.
I always want to get into goalie stuff, but we can get into that after in terms of what, why that goal actually went in. I do think Hellebuck is to blame on that goal. Even though the defenseman didn't really cut any lanes or help support or anything like that. But anyway, that's kind of a good way to put it for the thing to take away. I think my takeaway was kind of similar in that we didn't have to rely on Price. I think that was
we didn't.
Aside from the 1-0 game, I think that was that was kind of the big takeaway for me is that he played solid. He played like the goalie he was supposed to be. He played at a 930, save percentage, whatever it was, 1.97 or whatever the goals against was. But he didn't need to. He didn't need to be Toronto good. He didn't need to be like
that's what I was about to say.
Games 4 through 7. He didn't have to be that for this whole series. He was that at times, and he's been our best player throughout the playoffs. I mean, I don't think there's really a question about that.
MVP.
There's some murmurings for Perry and Stahl and Toffoli and whatever, but I mean, I think if we end up, knock on wood, winning the cup, I think he's probably number 1 in line for the Conn Smythe.
Oh, easy. He has to be. You can't, you take him out of the team, I don't think we're winning against Toronto.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
think
so. That's my logic thinking
behind his. Yeah, I mean, I would say that as well, and I guess that's my biggest takeaway is that the team played to the system. And I also kind of, the second thing, kind of as a secondary thing that I took out, I mean, we've been saying it for the past 2 months, 3 months, that people don't play 23 games in 45 days.
Yeah.
And it, or whatever it was, 26 games in 45 days, or whatever the ridiculous stat was, 26 games, 43 days.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen, and teams cannot perform to their fullest potential. And even though we kind of had that little lull in the middle of the season, where they had the coaching change, I think this was the team that was supposed to be on the ice from day one. People who said they were built for the playoffs, sure, I guess so.
We are a team like that.
But I guess, I guess that's kind of also my takeaway is that this is the team that should have been iced. This is the team that we've been trying to ice for the past season. This is the team that has all the acquisitions that, Marc Bergevin went out and get. And and kind of the team coming together and the coach that can implement a system that makes sense for that team.
I think this is.
Um,
I think this team has been in the making for the past 5 years.
Pretty
Like this.
much. I mean, I probably since the Pacioretty trade, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. This is like the direction that we were trying to go, and finally, we actually finally got there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah. I
no
think
there's no
that's
true superstar on the team going forward or on defense, but it's just guys that are every guy is solid. They know exactly what they got to do.
yeah.
There's no ego. There's no I'm better than you, and there's no that.
There
There's
are there are there are past superstars,
yeah,
and I think there are future superstars, and I would point mainly to Suzuki and Caulfield as the two superstars potentially.
yeah.
Suzuki, I don't think it's a doubt anymore. If we're gonna be honest, I think he's just
He's sick. He's just
he's gonna probably be an elite player in the league. Um,
such a
you
great
know,
series.
he's already almost point per game in this playoffs, I think,
Yeah,
and I mean, not even just the fact that he makes plays. I mean, he battles in the corner. He's not afraid. Doesn't get hit often. He hits. He goes into the corners too. He's not afraid. I think the only one knock on him is his speed, and I think if he just comes back 5 pounds lighter, seven
yeah.
pounds
Like you
later
said, yeah. I
next
remember.
year, he's gonna be more than okay in terms of speed. If he can keep the same power with just a little bit of weight loss, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that's an issue. I don't even think anybody told him to bulk up.
He just did it.
I think he just did it himself, kind of like Kotkaniemi. Also, they asked him to, but he put on. I mean, Kotkaniemi put on 15, 20 pounds
Yeah,
easily,
that's crazy.
which is insane. But that's what it is. I mean, you're filling into your body. In his case, Nick is already in his body. I mean, he's not going to grow any more than that in terms of height and in terms of weight. I don't see him going. I mean, right now I think he's 207. I mean, if he can get just under 200 or something
Yeah,
like that, I think that'll be more than
198,
okay for him.
198, 195 is perfect.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, even at 207 right now, like I don't see any issues with this game. The only thing he can't do necessarily is blow by guys,
Yeah,
but he doesn't need to because he's just so
yeah,
smart. He's got great hands. He can move around the ice. He knows where to be. He knows how to battle. He knows how to hit. He knows how to position his stick. And I think that a lot of the same goes for Caulfield, being a smaller guy. He has the opposite kind of thing. He's smaller, but he's got the quickness.
fucking quick, man.
I mean, he's a shooter, but I mean, fuck me, he's got 4 assists or something like that, and all
Yeah,
four have been important. Have like been important, kind of thing. Like
two of them are like big overtime.
two of them were overtime assists. The other assist he has is on a rebound of one of his shots that Corey Perry puts in for the first goal in Game 7.
And then Suzuki.
And I think the other one is probably to Suzuki or something like that.
Game 3 when we
So
won.
yeah, so I mean, all important plays.
Quick
I
heat,
mean,
man. He just has a quick release. Like it's so like just bam.
and that also comes in with the passing too. I think a lot of guys sometimes they don't expect the pass from him. It's actually pretty crazy
Oh, yeah.
how fast he releases off his stick in any situation. But he's definitely a guy that I look to that could potentially be a superstar. But like you were saying, we don't have, a Matthews. We don't have a Marner. We don't have a Kucherov. We don't have, I don't know. We don't even have a Bergeron kind of thing. We don't have a Pasternak. It's
No.
not. We don't have those kind of
Yeah,
players.
Carey Price. That's what we.
Yeah, that's our equivalent, and that's what I was gonna say. I think not that he makes up for everything else, because I mean,
No,
you
but
know,
he's
even I say 10.5 on a goal is a little bit much, but he's our superstar. That's what it is. That's who we have. Kind
mhm.
of thing. He's been there. He's a thoroughbred. He's won everything like ever. So I mean, there's he can become a member of the Triple Gold Club or whatever it
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
the World Juniors, the Olympics, and the Stanley Cup if he wins it. Um, Kind of off topic question for you: is he first ballot if he wins?
yeah,
If he
yeah.
wins a cup this year, is he first ballot?
Oh yeah, he has to be. I think regardless if he doesn't win, I think
You
he
think
is.
regardless he's first ballot
Yeah,
anyway?
yeah, but yeah. I don't know how Carey does not go first,
No, but I'm
regardless.
saying first ballot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
was Luongo first already?
I'd like to think. Well, Luongo's not in yet.
Oh, he's not in yet. Okay.
No, I believe he will be, and he probably will be first ballot because of his longevity, because of his number of wins, and because he's won an Olympic gold as well. It is the Hockey Hall of. I was trying to remember. I was trying to remind my dad the other day. It's the Hockey Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
not the NHL Hall of Fame,
yeah. Look,
right? So
I
you got
I
to figure
think
that difference also.
I think if Carey plays, I think if he plays for another 33, five more years,
Yeah, if
37.
he plays for 5 years, he'll get over
If
400
he hits
wins.
38, like if it's 38 and he's playing, he's still playing. I don't see how he's not Hall of Fame. I think he'll hit 350 wins, maybe even pushing 390.
No, I think he's actually.
He's at 350.
I think he's past 350. I could be wrong.
So
National
if he
goalie
gets like
leaders.
if he gets close to the 400s, then I think he's easy first ballot. I don't see how he has the record and he has the most wins in the Habs
In
history.
Canadiens history, yeah. Yeah, I
Yes,
mean, that alone might actually just put him in just because of the
uh,
Habs being a historic franchise.
and especially the goalies that came before him. Patrick Roy, Ken Dryden,
Yeah.
Jacques Plante. It's
He's at,
just
he's at, he's at 360. He's got 360 wins.
okay. So he's easily hitting 400.
So, I'd say he's going to hit 400, which puts him in the top 12, and I believe every single goalie except maybe Chris Osgood is in the, is Chris Osgood in the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure.
No, I think he's first ballot. In my books, carries he's there.
He's been eligible since 2014. He's not in yet.
No.
So, Osgood's not in yet. He's got 401 wins. The other guys on the list: Brodeur, Roy, Fleury. Fleury's going to be first ballot.
Yeah,
Luongo first ballot. Belfour's in. Lundqvist will also probably. I don't know if he'll be first ballot, but he'll be in.
yeah, he'll be in.
Curtis Joseph's in. Sawchuk's in. Plante is in. Esposito's in. Glenn Hall is in. Granskier is in. So all those guys are already in. If Price makes it to 400, especially if he wins a cup, he's in first ballot.
Yes,
I think the cup's going to make a little bit of a difference for him.
Well, obviously he's gonna have an easier time going in.
Yeah.
But you have to think about like
What,
he's playing in a time where it's all about offense now. It's it's the league's going in an offensive direction, so guys are scoring goals left and right. These shooters they never shot the puck better than this ever.
yeah.
So for him to put up a save percentage, I think he has an average save percentage 920, 928, something like 960.
Career or in the playoffs?
Career.
Career is a 917, I believe.
Like
917 or 918, which is on par with pretty much the best of the best.
have a 918 as a career average. That just tells you.
Just to give you an idea, Brodeur was a 912, Patrick Roy was a 910, on Marc-Andre Fleury is a 913, and Luongo's a 919.
So it just gives
and
you.
Those guys are all going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, most of them, two of them are already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Roberto will go soon, and he's got a 917 carry price. So I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there's a question about him going to the Hall of Fame. I think it was more, is he first ballot or not? It's kind of off topic, but I guess we can get to it after the season ends and see what happens. I was saying Pierre LeBrun actually went around the league and talked to a couple of GMs. I think there were 8 GMs in the article that he posted in The Athletic. A lot of them were talking about how Marc Bergevin might be up for GM of the year.
Yeah.
I guess what do you feel about that? I'm not sure if a GM of the year the playoffs are considered
that was about to
part
say.
of it or not. Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead.
If the playoffs are involved, I think he's hands down easy gets all 100% votes of GM of the year. I don't see how he doesn't. Now, playoffs are not involved, which that actually I understand how that could not, because the GM really does nothing in the playoffs, right? The deadline's over right now. His team is put together. He stands back. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
So if the playoffs are not involved, I still believe he should win, but I don't think he's a unanimous winner. I think he's
Well, I mean, no matter what, the voting doesn't go on until I think soon. I think it happens soon. So no matter what, people are going to be biased towards recency, right? So they're going to be like, oh, recently the Habs have been.
Yeah.
Right? So no matter what, they're going to have that kind of in their head. So I think.
That's good.
Yeah, I think the real problem is that we finished 18th in the league.
Yeah.
And kind of in a regular division, we might not have even made the playoffs.
Well, apparently, even they might also say they play in the Canadian division, the weakest division, and they finish 4th.
Yeah. But in my opinion, I guess regardless, I'm pretty sure he had the most transactions from start of the season to now. I believe he had the most transactions. So I mean, listen, has he made? We've talked about this hundreds of times on the show. I mean, has he made bad moves? Yeah, who hasn't made a bad move?
Yeah.
I mean,
in the past, but this year, I don't think he's made one bad move. There's not one thing that I'm like.
Yeah, this year, absolutely. In terms of what he's done in the past 365 days, yeah, 100%. I think he should be in consideration for the GM of the year. Now, will it happen? Nobody knows. I guess that kind of. listen, we win the cup. I don't think there's much question
Yeah.
he's gonna be
Okay.
gem of the year. I don't think that's really an issue. Um, but is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Because I had one more topic I want to talk about from the Habs before we moved on.
I know you could go with
Um, but I kind of wanted to talk about winners. If that makes sense. I feel like we've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, well, we touched base
Um,
on it. I remember the beginning of the year.
yeah. So in my opinion, you see it all over Twitter as well. But it's pretty funny to me that people kind of talk about. I'm always going to take Toronto because they're rivals. We beat them. We whatever. We came back and whatever. But you look at a team like Toronto that added, at the on the offseason and at the deadline, they added veterans.
Mm-hmm.
We added some experience, some grit to our team. We think that's going to help us go far in the playoffs. This and that and the other. In reality, now is it overrated? Maybe, but as a person who played hockey for a pretty long while, and at the end and kind of a somewhat elite level, I think that people who have won things like really, really makes a difference, and not like a world junior. I mean, like if you're bringing in a national championship person to your team, if you're in the NCAA, for example, it's gonna make a difference because that guy knows
Mm-hmm.
kind of how hard it is to get to that point. Um, and win something. Now, aside from Jake Muzzin, nobody on the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup.
Was that
As far
apparently?
as far as I know, there might have been another, but
I can't think of. Who else would have won a cup?
Jake Muzzin for sure.
Yeah, we know what LA. He won one.
Yeah, and so at the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else. And really, I mean, he wasn't in right for the last game.
Yeah, the last game he
So
left.
that's a situation where a guy that's won the cup before goes into Game 7 and says, "Guys,
Yeah, I
like
would have told him like,
there's no dicking around here. This is it. This is the game to win." And he would have went out and done the things on the ice.
mm-hmm.
Right? That's a big difference because John Tavares, as much as he was their captain, as much as he was probably in the room going rah rah, let's fucking go, let's get these guys, whatever.
He's never.
And as much as Jake Muzzin was probably like, yeah, let's go, guys, it's Game 7, whatever. They're not leading by example,
It's not the same feeling. It's not the same
right?
feeling.
It's not the same thing where you get a guy like Corey Perry, who, in my opinion, is probably the guy in the league that hates losing the most.
Yeah.
At least I've seen him now up close more than pretty much any other player, kind of that I've known over the last maybe decade. I mean, this guy cannot stand losing.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy in the league that I can think right now that can maybe become something like that is Brady Tkachuk. That's who he reminds me of
Yeah.
in terms of he fucking hates losing. And so that's a great thing to have. And I think Brady Tkachuk's easily a captain in Ottawa soon. I don't think that's really a question. But there's nobody that I know on this team that hates losing more than Corey Perry.
Oh,
And it shows. And when this guy steps up in the room and says, "This is it. This is our chance to beat the Maple Leafs. This is our chance to sweep the Jets. This is our chance to get to the next round. This might be the last time I can do it."
yeah.
And then goes out on the ice, scores a big goal, makes a big play, or something. You're like, no, this guy's not fucking around. Like, this guy's serious.
That's
Everybody
how.
puts their work boots on. Nobody's got their head down on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's pouting. Nobody's doing anything. It's everybody's on the same page and
That's
everybody's
good.
positive towards the game. And then when you hop on the ice, you bet your fucking ass that guy's gonna work his ass off because the guy before him just did, and
Mm-hmm.
he knows what it takes.
No, you're right.
Him,
You're right.
Edmondson, Stahl. I mean, even to a certain extent, Jake Allen, who's made it all the way. He knows that goaltending is a hard position in the NHL. Who else do we have that we added? I mean, Frolik, he's not playing again, so it's kind of the same situation as the Muzzin, for example. But you're looking at least 5, 6 guys, Toffoli, who won early. So these guys also is another interesting thing because those 3 guys, Toffoli, Stahl, and Perry,
All one young.
won it in their like second or third year in the league.
Second year in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, so most of them was, I think even Stahl was a rookie,
Yeah, it
if
could
I'm
be.
not mistaken. So you're talking about guys that won it a long time ago, never got to do it again.
Yeah. This is
So
their second.
every year when they get there and they tell you this is what it takes, you know that this is what it takes.
Well, especially like kids like Suzuki, KK, Caulfield. What put even uh, Josh Anderson, Romanov in that
Yeah, you
conversation.
put those guys in that
Young,
conversation. Yeah.
they're in their they're in their 20s, early 20s, right?
They're gonna be our future core of the team.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and when you have guys like Stahl at 36, Perry at 36, Weber at 36, I put Price, in there too, Carey at 33. You see these guys. These guys, the last. This is it. The window's not. It's not open very much. It's barely cracked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you see these guys go give it all they got every single game, for the young kids, man, it adds so much motivation to play, and you want to win for them, not only for yourself, but you mostly are doing it for them because
Yeah.
you have a career, you have the next 10 years to at least get there, so it's not a big deal. But for the guy like Stahl, Perry, these guys, this is it.
Because of those guys, they realize that it is a big deal. Like for
Yeah,
them, it's like, yes, we might have a chance in the future. So if those guys weren't there, then maybe they would be like, oh yeah, but we can get back here next year.
yeah,
Kind of thing.
probably, yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
we're down 3-1, whatever. There's always
yeah.
next year,
Don't worry about it. There's always next year.
right?
Yeah,
That's I think, and I mean, listen, those guys in general, I think those three players in particular, Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, and Caulfield, are three guys that know that will take a message seriously.
hmm.
You know,
But look,
versus this is off the top of my head, but for example, Jack Eichel, like for me, that's not a guy that I see having the same commitment level on any team, whether it's Buffalo or otherwise.
I don't
If
see.
a
I
guy
don't.
like Stahl and Perry and whatever speak up in the room, I don't see him being the guy like Caulfield saying, "Okay, I'm making a big play because I need to make a big play."
What I like about Montreal is that they brought up these young kids, but they also surrounded them with guys that are gonna like put them in their place when they're going a little to the left or a little to the right. I'll give you an example. Like in Toronto, when Matthews, Marner, Nylander, they all came. Literally, they here's the keys to the team. Do whatever you want, and you see how
Yeah,
they are. It's whatever they want to do, it gets done.
even Don Cherry, who's like the second biggest Maple Leafs fan of all time, was saying in their post-season press conferences he was disappointed in the way that they answered questions
You see it already how they are.
because
They're
it felt like oh, we're not, yes, we didn't play, but we're not to blame
yeah.
necessarily, or
Oh, you see it.
you know it,
You see
it's
the
a little bit
passion.
disheartening. I see it more in Matthews than I do in Marner. I don't know if that's because I'm biased towards Canadian players, but man, when you talk about a guy who had a just horrendous series, Marner, like, dude, he had like 5 over the glass penalties,
Yeah, it was
puck
bad.
over glass penalties,
Yeah,
5. I think he had 3 in our series, and I think he's got 2 in another series last year or something. He's got as many playoff goals as he does over the glass penalties.
it's bad, but it goes back. It's just there's no leadership to when they were
Probably
young.
in Toronto, there's probably a lack of accountability, I would think.
Look, it's not that they brought them in too fast. They didn't surround them with the proper guys to tell them, look, this is how to be a pro. This is how to do this. Don't do this, don't do that. Stuff like that. They had Patrick Marleau there at one point, which I found was actually good. He's a straight guy. He took them under their wing, and he like showed them, look, how to be, and then they didn't resign him. They let him go.
Yeah.
But I think if Toronto wants to go forward, I think they need more guys like a Perry, like a Stahl, like a Weber.
But now is it too late?
I don't think it's too late. They're still
They're
young.
20. They're 24,
I think
25.
I no 24, 23.
Actually, I think Matthews is 23. Yes, sorry.
I don't think
Marner's definitely 24 because
yeah,
he's a 97.
27. I don't think it's I don't think it's young. I don't think it's they're too old. I think they're still young. I think there's still room for them to grow off the ice, not
Yeah.
not on the ice. I think on the ice they're
Yeah, I
just
think a lot of it is between the years. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, skill level, they're unbelievable. I mean,
out of this
they're
world.
two of the best players in the league. I mean,
I think
it's not really. I'm not really debating that. I mean, they're great players. They're
no,
probably two of the best in the league. Um,
I think that's where Montreal did a better job of uh, surrounding their young players with a good group of veterans that could show them the right way how to be an NHLer for
yeah.
a long time. For a long time, you're getting advice from Corey Perry, Stahl, Weber,
And
Price.
don't forget also, Perry and Stahl both had 50 goal seasons. Perry
Yeah,
was an MVP.
and they were superstars when they were young.
Yeah,
So you're
and they were
that's
and
not
they were
frontline players.
they were the faces of the league when they were younger, right? I mean,
Exactly.
so I mean, yeah, I know I 100% agree with you, and I think that's kind of something that other teams need to figure out a little bit more. And I guess somehow Montreal got it right in that sense.
Thanks to
You know,
Bergevin.
how clutch is Toffoli? I mean,
Oh, fucking clutch.
the guy hadn't scored in 6 games or 9 games,
Hell,
and then all of a sudden he's got 10 points in 10 games,
goal
and
scorers,
they're important goals.
goal
Dude,
scorers.
Toffoli was playing on a fourth line in LA.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was when he was young, though. He was young. Yeah.
No, that was for their cup win. Yeah, but I'm saying even after that, like now, until he like got traded and whatever,
Oh, he wasn't on the fourth line. He was on the
he
second.
was he was playing like a second line, sometimes third line role.
Yeah.
Okay, and wasn't there to score. Is my point.
Yeah, we
He
have to.
wasn't put on the Anze Kopitar line to go
Yeah,
score
yeah.
goals.
We have
Right?
to
He was
understand the
there
point.
to be responsible defensively, to whatever. Like very strange to me how them and also Vancouver just didn't see what they have. Like you're talking about a 28-year-old who scored 30 goals before, who can clearly score 30 goals again,
He's
and you're
just.
just like, nah, it's fine. You can have him.
It is. I guess people just don't believe in his speed. They think they
That's what it
lack of
is.
speed,
It
and they're
has to
like,
be what it is.
"Oh, yeah, that's the only answer that I have."
I don't know, man. It just
Fine, don't worry about it.
he's smart. He knows where to be at least on the ice. And
If you look at the overtime goal, the clinching goal, if you look at
he was
him
behind the net, getting ready
behind
for
the
a play.
net, the defenseman
He
looks
saw that something was there. Boom, that's it.
as soon as
Front of the net.
puts himself right next to the net, the pass comes, boom. That's just a
I mean,
goal scorer.
that pass is. I mean, you can't get better than that. As a pass. I mean,
Just solid.
yeah. But yeah, no. Listen, I'm very happy about what's going on. We'll see if they kind of run into that slump, that sweep slump that you go in later and
Hope
kind of
not.
like what the Jets did. I heard Bob Gainey went down and kind of had a
Yeah.
chat with them, just had to recoup and regroup as a team and make sure you're not losing a step. And I guess those of you who are watching or not watching the NHL, the Islanders did just beat the Boston Bruins 6-2, so that means the Islanders are through.
Oof, what a dirty
And Boston is out.
cow, Boston.
So as of tomorrow, we have a chance of having our Final Four
Yeah.
if Vegas wins.
If Vegas wins, we're gonna Montreal, Vegas, and Boston.
So it'll be Montreal, Vegas,
then
Boston.
Islanders.
Islanders, and Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
So the Islanders, for me, similar story to Montreal. In that they've had guys that have been there a long time. The only thing that they might not have is cup winners. That maybe we have in terms of they have Zajac, I believe, won a cup.
Yeah, with the Devils.
I could be wrong though.
No, he probably
You think so? He might have got there after. I don't even know, but he might have a cup.
He's probably the Andy Green maybe.
No, he's not that old.
Yeah, he's fucking old. He's a dinosaur.
Yeah, but he's not old enough to be 2003 or 4. When was the last time they won? Devils 2006 maybe. Is he that old? When was the last time the Devils won?
I don't remember.
I gotta look it up.
Early 2000s.
Gotta look it up.
I think it was like 2004, 2003.
Gotta see. Hold on.
When they won the cup with Gianta and Gomez.
Third cup and a lockout. When was their third cup? Verdor was Vezina. 2007. No, they didn't win 2007. Let me just look up Stanley Cup winners. Why am I taking so long to do this?
It's when
Stanley Cup winners.
When Gianta and Gomez won the cup with them.
Yeah, with 2003. Like, that's a long time ago. I don't even think Zajac was there.
No. Okay, never mind.
I don't even think Zajac was there.
Okay, scrap that.
17 years. So I don't even know if they have any. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that out of all guys, Zajac, but he would have been a rookie or like very barely part of the team.
Yeah, forget about it.
But anyway, I don't know any guys on that roster that for sure have won a cup.
No.
And it's in some scenarios it's overrated. Like I was saying, like okay, just because he won a cup doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, the whole Washington Capitals won a cup.
Yeah.
You know, and they just
everyone won a cup there.
No, but I'm saying that now they're out. You know, Washington's out versus Tampa Bay. They're through. You know, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I think adding adding these guys when you didn't have them before, I think that makes a difference, kind of going forward. We'll see what happens in the next series. Who would you kind of rather match up against? I personally would rather match up against Colorado.
Yeah, same as you.
Um,
I think Colorado will be I say easier, but I don't think it's gonna be easy.
yeah,
But I rather play against Colorado because their defense are pretty small, but they're mobile, which I think that's where the Canadians could take advantage of that big line, the big fourth line, where they just cycle the puck and you can't touch them. Literally, if
I mean, already there's like Logan Stanley that couldn't touch these guys. Like
yeah, if
imagine
the
Makar trying to chase
yeah,
Stahl.
The Jets defense have a hard time taking the puck off Perry or Mia and Stahl. Imagine like the Colorado defense with the Makar, Gerard,
Yeah.
all these guys. So
And same thing in Toronto. I mean, for that line anyway, that line
yeah,
was. It wasn't as like superstar as they were in the Jet series, but they were solid. Like they did. That's exactly what they did. They kept the
yeah,
puck. They cycled. They gave us some chances to create some offense on the next shift.
yeah, Colorado.
And the I would argue that the turning point in the series was the Armia goal, which was a massive hit on Sandin by Perry. Sandin, I actually looked at the goal again today because the Canadians released the 7 minutes of every goal that we've scored so far, and so I was watching the video and I saw the hit and when he gets up, Sandin, he looks to the ref because he's like, "Dude, what?" But clean hit as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it really caught him anywhere crazy or there was no interference. He definitely had the puck, and so that was, I think, really the turning point in the series when Armia scored that first goal in Game 5, I think it was, or yeah, Game 5. So anyway, is what it is. I would rather match up against Colorado as well.
Mhm.
I think their goalie is suspect.
Yeah,
He's been great this year.
but
Do not get me wrong. He's been great
I
this
don't think
year.
he's been tested.
He's in the Vezina candidate, whatever,
I don't think he's been tested.
but he hasn't played a lot of playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, I don't.
and he's also let in a couple of bananas that I've seen
Yeah,
in this
in the
playoffs,
Vegas series. Yeah.
where not to say Carey Price is not going to let in a banana. I mean, he let in a banana against Logan Stanley, and arguably two of them, both of them last game were savable. I would say.
Yeah.
Um, but that's
Also,
one major reason because I'd obviously rather face Grubauer than Fleury,
yeah. Plus,
just because Fleury's been there 3 times. He was the number one twice. He's a Hall of Famer. He knows how to step up in big moments, and
plus,
I think I'm more worried about him than Grubauer. And then you think about the style of play.
yeah. I think
I
I'll
think
rather.
is my second one. I mean, yes, Colorado has a ton of speed. They if you think the Canadians are fast,
Yeah, Colorado's out more, but
Colorado's like twice as fast.
Vegas are
Like we're
heavy.
going at 70 and they're going at 100. Like it's
Vegas is heavy, and they're gonna hit us like on time. It's gonna be a hitting series, and they have depth, and they have three lines that could go. Which Colorado, you shut down the McKinnon line. What else do they got to give you, right?
well,
It's a
that
bunch
I
of
mean, I love Tyson Jost as a player. I think eventually, if he's a free agent, I think Montreal should definitely think about signing him because he's
no, he's a
unreal.
really good player, but I don't think he's at that level yet that he could like
No,
McKinnon's
probably not. I
very
mean, Kadri coming back is going to be big for them.
fucking piece of shit.
If he comes back,
Piece of- I hate him so much.
and Donskoy is a great player as well. Is he a 30 goal scorer? No, but the problem is how do you stop the first line? I mean,
Yeah.
they're just
Well, look,
unbelievable.
we stopped Matthews.
But I think what the Knights are doing, clogging up those passes, really clogging up the center of the ice, forcing them to just drive the puck down the wing and just hope your defenseman is basically going to play the one-on-one properly. Which
Or
to be
dump.
fair, most NHL defensemen are going to be okay at the one-on-one unless McKinnon's coming in at 55 miles an hour. Okay, I get it. You might get beat. But
Unless we
if he's
or
not and he's not picking it up behind his net, let's say, and just skating through, if he's just picking it up in the neutral zone, he's quick. But I think because of the playoffs, because of the style of maybe you won't take a penalty if you hit him in the hip. If you push
yeah.
him in the hip, you won't get a holding call or something like that. I think it'll be okay. I think that's the kind of the whatever. Problem is they can cycle the puck. They can beat you a lot of ways. That's the real problem with that first line of Colorado.
It's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be a very
No
tough
matter
series.
what, yeah, no matter what, it'll be a good series.
It'll be harder. It'll be harder than the Toronto series, in my opinion.
No matter what. I mean, those are two best
Yeah.
teams in the league, pretty much undisputedly. I don't think that's really an issue. Maybe Tampa Bay might have a sniff of the best team in the league right now. But again, you talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, cap circumvention, $18 million. I mean, they have $18 million on their salary cap right now. That should not be there, basically.
We'll see what happens, eh?
We'll see what happens.
We'll see tomorrow.
The potential for a Canadiens and Bruins final is no longer a thing.
Ciao bye.
As of today. So it looks like we're gonna have it looks like we're gonna have the Islanders against Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay's gonna have a little bit of a challenge, maybe defensively.
The Vegas and Colorado.
And then we're awaiting the Vegas and Colorado game to see who plays Montreal. That'll be tomorrow night, probably when this video goes up.
Yeah.
So we'll see after that. Obviously, keep track of it on our Sports Junkies podcast Twitter page. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for playoff hockey right now.
Yeah.
We're kind of 35 minutes in. I guess we can talk a little bit about what you want to talk about in terms of EuroLeague.
Yeah. The Euros.
The Euros.
It was supposed to be last year, but
the Euro Cup, yeah, it was 2020. That's being played in 2021.
Yeah.
Obviously, we are both of Italian origin, and that's kind of who we focus on. And so, I guess if you want to share your screen, Frank, I know you wanted to show what you would think the lineup should be.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
for Italy's starting 11. I can look up their schedule right now.
Yeah.
In terms of who they're playing.
So they start the first game. So they start the 11th. We open the tournament off. Play against Turkey at 3:00. We actually have a decent group. Like it's a bunch of average teams, but I think we should get out of it in first place. We're playing against Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales.
Okay, Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales. Yeah, that's our.
Like they're not amazing teams, but they're not shit teams. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough games for Italy. So this is the bench, which I think pretty much this is how the bench is gonna look like. You have Jorginho, Pellegrini, Belotti, Benedetti.
You have some names on here. I mean,
yeah, but Bastoni, who's been pretty much
great. Yeah,
great green Ted. So there's a lot of good players.
Basically, in my opinion, he's losing out the spot because of the two guys that have been there over and over again, right?
That's seniority. You just have to give it to them for the first game.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's what's gonna happen.
I think start. Go ahead. I was gonna.
No, go finish.
I was gonna say I think out of these guys that I see here, probably Jorginho, Belotti, Bernardeschi, are probably gonna see some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and continue with the.
Yeah, that was just
start with your starting 11. I think that I'm pretty much on the same page. But like I said, there's one guy that I actually haven't seen very much this year. But go ahead,
We'll get to that. So pretty much in nets, I think it's obvious who Italy's number one goalie is.
I don't think that's really a question. Yeah,
he's literally gonna be in Italy's number one goalie for the next 10 to 15 years. He's pretty much Buffon. That's what he is.
I mean, in all honesty, you look at him and he's already played. I mean, how many games in Serie A?
Crazy number.
Just ridiculous.
He started at 17 years old. He was starting goalie at 17. Just imagine.
Yeah. So he's. Go ahead, continue, because I'll go look up how many games he's played. Just for the record, he's 22 years old. Okay. He's 22 years old.
He's so young. So right back, I think Italy's gonna go with Alessandro Florenzi. So it's between him and Di Lorenzo.
Saw him play live in Italy, actually.
Yeah, he's very good. He was never a right back. He was always a right mid or in the midfield, but he got converted into a right back. So I think Italy's gonna go with him. Then our two center backs, I think it's obvious who we're
seniority.
We're gonna go with Bonucci and Chiellini.
But I think there is a possibility of seeing some of the other guys in there if these guys are maybe towards the end of the group stages, if we know we're in, stuff like that. I think they can easily put in a couple of guys.
Like I said the first game, I think it's guaranteed that they're starting. You have to put them together. They've literally, I think they've played half their careers together. I think the last decade for Italy, they've been playing together. So I think you have to go. The only guy that I see that I would want to see in would be Bastoni, if ever we could are winning.
I mean, listen, Acerbi's not horrible.
Look, if he wants to play with a 3-man back line, then Acerbi or Bastoni could easily do the job. They both play in a 3-man back line with their respective teams. Going as a left back, a lot. If you don't watch Serie A, you're gonna be like, who? But Spinazzola plays for Roma. He was a Juventus player, but we sold him to Roma. This is how pretty much Italy is gonna work. We're gonna attack by the left. So we're gonna move the ball from right to left, and Spinazzola is gonna pretty much lead the attack. Same way how Juventus play, sort of like we always attack from the right with Quadrado, who
with
crosses the
Quadrado.
ball.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna do the exact same thing. He's an attacking wing back. That's pretty much his position. So now the midfield, I think that this is going to be our midfield. I think we're going to go with Verratti, Barella, and Locatelli. A lot of people are probably saying, "What? Look who? Why Locatelli?" Again, this is another. If you don't watch Serie A, then you don't know what he's done
Necessarily
this
who he is.
season.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally, this season, he's, in my opinion, probably breakout, most improved
And
player.
to be fair, uh, when he was back at Milan, I
Yes.
also liked him as a player. I loved him as a player, but I think he just needed the right situation for him to grow and break out, and I think he kind of found it this year.
Yeah.
Like you were telling me before we kind of started, our center defensive mids. Who's our other one on our bench?
Well, we have Jorginho. That's the other one, but
Jorginho. Those are the two that for me,
yeah, you could.
like you said, they kind of sit in front of that. They sit in front of that line, and they'll distribute the ball if it doesn't go from the left.
Yeah, they're pretty much Pirlo. That's what they are.
Yeah, Locatelli was supposed to be like
And
that. Was initially, even when he came in, that was kind of the player we compared him to.
he's
Obviously some big shoes to fill.
he's playing. Look. I've watched a lot of Serie A and I've watched a lot of Sassuolo, but I like how they play. They're a very good team, and when he's on the ball, like he makes things happen. He's crazy passer. He gets forward. He could score too. He scored a lot of goals this season. So again, if Italy's gonna have any success, it's gonna have to come through the midfield because Verratti and Barella are gonna have to work like dogs, and that's
And
what they
those are guys that I mean, Barella, like I said, Barella is the one that I haven't seen very much.
are.
But
He's
Verratti, I've been watching him for
yeah,
a long time.
like I told you before. I said if Italy has any chance of going to the finals or winning this, it's gonna be up to Barella. He's the key to our midfield.
Hmm.
He was the key to Inter of winning the Scudetto because he did everything. He broke up play. He came back, defend. He carried the ball and brought the ball, joined the attack. He was pretty much the jack of all trades. Whatever you need him to,
Kind of a Kante.
yeah, he'll do it. And I like his style. He's hungry and he hates losing. And I love the passion. So I think he's brings it. Now, if Italy's like wants to go for more attacking, I think this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna bring in Pellegrini for
Pellegrini will go in.
Verratti,
Yeah.
and they'll play Pellegrini, and he'll play more in like number
Kind of
10,
a CAM, yeah, like a 9 or 10. Yeah.
slash midfielder. That's what he plays for Roma, and I think Mancini done that a few exhibition games or the qualifying games here and there. But now going up to our attack, I think there's no
I
question.
mean, this is
Yeah, no question that on the left we're gonna have to go with Insigne. In the middle, a lot of Italians that follow the national team do not like Immobile, and I understand why because when he comes with the national team, he cannot score. But with Lazio, he scores. But I really believe that this tournament we're gonna see a different Immobile, and he's gonna score. He's gonna finally break the curse. And on
listen, and worst case, we have some guys that have the experience.
If he doesn't cut it, we have
Belotti, somebody that I would see for sure playing.
Belotti that could come
and
in.
Worst case, you can even think about maybe a Bernardeschi as a false nine, almost.
Something like that.
But I think so too. I mean, I love the way Immobile plays. Obviously, in the national team, like you were saying, a little bit of struggling.
He hasn't showed up,
but it is what it is. I also love the guy on the right side. I think I think he's really
he's
really an impressive footballer.
He literally had a breakout season this year. 15 goals, 11 assists in all competitions for someone who just joined Juventus. Again, if Italy's gonna have any success, Insigne and Chiesa are gonna have to create chances for
and really that's who it is. I mean, Insigne
Yeah,
for me is probably
but
the most creative Italian player I've seen in a long time. Um,
that's why I said our attack's gonna come through the left with Spinazzola and Insigne. That's how.
and Barella as well.
Yeah, and Barella there. That's why I put him there. I think this is how Italy's gonna form up. But if let's see if Chiesa doesn't play, I think they're gonna go with. If I could go, I think
Berardi,
they're gonna go with.
Berardi.
Yes, Baradi. What's cool about if we play him here is that he's a left footer, plays on the right side, so he
So you
could
cut
cut
in,
in. And Insigne is on the left, and he's a right footer, so
right
you have
footer. They can cut
that
in.
threat that could cut in and beat you on the outside, on the inside.
Hey,
So
listen, as a rating, we're at 87 with 5 stars, man.
yeah,
But no, in all honesty, these are. I mean, you look at kind of. I mean, Italy's always been built from the back. I
yes,
mean, since the days of Maldini and even before that, Baresi and all those guys, it's been from the back. I think kind of different is that we have right back and left back that can actually move up the field, which is kind of new age football, new
especially
moving things through the wing backs and moving things up the field like that way, more attacking, more pressing on the side because it doesn't give you as much danger necessarily, but it could create some really good opportunities. So it's kind of like a low risk, high reward in
yeah.
terms of building from those places. I think we're still going to see a possession focused Italy. I think we're still going to see a defensively sound Italy. I think Donnarumma is going to be as good as Donnarumma can be. I got those appearances by the way. He's 22 years old. He has 215 appearances in Serie A.
Wild already.
I mean, just that. I mean, he's played at the national level before. He's solid. He's good under pressure.
He's a solid keeper.
I'm not going to compare him to Buffon because I think Buffon's probably the greatest goaltender of all time,
Yeah,
goalkeeper of all time.
hands
I
down,
think it's kind of between him and Dino Zoff, and Dino Zoff is kind of too old for me to say that it's Dino
hands
Zoff.
down.
Like
I,
I've seen Buffon play, and I think he's better.
what I still remember when I was a kid and people would tell me, bro, Buffon's not even good. You know what's better than Casillas, bro? Casillas is 10 times better. Casillas is better. Nah, I want to see what Casillas is now. He's not even playing. He retired a long time ago. Buffon's still playing at 41, and he's still able to play at a high level.
Yeah, I think that kind of speaks to just how good Buffon actually was and is. I mean, he's still like you said, he's 41. He doesn't play against Champions League teams necessarily, but if he gets the call, I mean, he was supposed to be a coach, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Wasn't that the situation? They wanted him to be a coach, but he's
yeah.
like, nah, screw it,
No,
I'm
he's
still
like, no,
good.
I still, I still want to play. I still want to play a year or two, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, all worries.
So
No, but I think,
listen,
look,
it's definitely not the worst Italian squad I've seen.
no, I think this is probably
One of the better ones.
this reminds. Look, in a way, this reminds me of 2006 Italy's team.
You
But
can't start with these. It feels like 93. It feels like 06. What is this?
but it does. This team reminds me of 2006 in a way where we're not the favorites. No one's talking about us. Everyone's talking about France, Germany, Portugal, England, Croatia, fucking old Belgium. Okay, everyone's talking about all these teams. No one's mentioning Italy. Italy hasn't lost a game in 20.
Yeah, I think they're
We're
almost tied for the
27 games
record, isn't it?
unbeaten.
Yeah.
We're going into this tournament hot. Okay, we don't have. There's no like on 2006. It was a legendary team. It was all legends, right? In
This
this team,
team, you could say maybe there's two, and
Chiellini.
it's the actually Chiellini would be the only one because he was there in
Yeah,
2006.
yeah.
I was gonna say maybe Bonucci, but
No, Chiellini wasn't there in 2006. I don't think
no,
so.
you're right. I think he might have been on the bench.
He.
For some reason, I think he was on the bench.
No,
For
Barzagli.
some reason,
It was Barzagli that was there.
Basali for sure was there.
Chiellini
Hold on,
wasn't.
now I gotta look it up. Now you're
I
making me
think
think.
Chiellini came just after the next year. He came the next year.
Maybe.
No, but I was saying it's a very similar team in a way where, like I said, we're the dark horse. No one's expecting us, right? You have Germany, Portugal, and France all in one group. One of those.
I still remember that they were Group E in in the World Cup. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Like I said, like we have Germany, France, and Portugal all in one group. One of those teams are going to be out. So that's one less good team for Italy to worry about. So if everything goes right, I think Italy has a good chance to go to the finals and do some damage in this tournament. So
listen, I don't see why not. Like you said, this team is definitely not one of the worst teams I've seen, and I think the question is going to be kind of like always, can they score?
Yes.
I think that's going to be the big question because I think there's no real issue about defense. I think even on our bench, we have guys that can play defense perfectly well. I think that we have a goalkeeper who's one of the better ones in the world, I'd say right now. I mean, he's 22.
He's up there.
So I think that on the back end we're kind of still okay. We don't have legends. I mean, we don't have Nesta and Cannavaro and those guys. We don't have. It's not that insane, our roster. But at the same time, I think that we have a possibility to do something interesting. I'd say this year.
Look, I put $50 on it to win the Euro. So.
You just put $50 on all your favorite teams. This year.
I slapped 50. I'm like, let's see if it works out. So let's hope it starts Friday. It's gonna be exciting. At least now we're gonna have soccer every day.
Hockey is gonna be nice.
Now is reducing.
It's pretty insane. Yeah, like for soccer and hockey fans, like if you like those two sports, this is a great summer for you. I mean, June into July, it's gonna be quite good. I'm excited for it as well, and we'll keep everybody updated as always.
We'll bring you
on our Twitter page somehow. We'll probably live tweet. I feel like it's easier to live tweet soccer because it's a little bit of a slower game than hockey.
So you have time to
you have time to type something out versus like hockey. The amount of times that I just type something and it's typos galore. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting. I don't want to kind of drag this on too long, but if those of you who are watching or have watched all the way through, gotta say thank you as always. We appreciate it. Those of you who follow us on Twitter as well, we love you guys for sure. And listen, drop us a comment if you want to talk about the starting 11. If you have something different, Franco, I'd say actually maybe we could take a screenshot, post that up on Twitter, and see if anybody's kind of on the same page as us. Hey, listen, good luck to Italy. Good luck to the Habs. That's all we can do, right? Is watch and wish them good luck. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. This will go up tomorrow, and hey, welcome back to the Sports Junkies podcast. Basically, we'll try to be a little more consistent this week. Getting into the Stanley Cup finals.
We're getting there
soon. We're getting there. Oh, the other thing was actually, sorry, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta mention that if Vegas goes through, it'll be the NHL's oldest franchise versus the NHL's newest franchise playing in the semifinals, which would be very, very interesting as well. Pretty cool. So thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me, Frank.
No problem.
We'll see you soon.
Ciao.